What's up, world? It's your boy DJ47. Thanks for tuning in to our YouTube page. If you like what you see, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to us as we hit you with new videos every week. Yeah, it's your boy DJ47, and this is another episode of the One Shot Jail podcast with my guest, DJ Mike. This is the 5-part interview, and check it out. The second episode airs right now.
You're now listening to the sounds of KDPG Radio. Keep the party going.
When you're doing art, find a way to involve the audience.
Exactly.
Because it's a marriage. It's a give and take. Understand what they want and still give a little bit of you and all like that. So what do they want? That's why when we did the what are you drinking? What are you drinking? I don't drink, but people do. And people love to broadcast what they drink. You know, they're in the club, they holding the bottles. They love to show off they drink. Just because I don't drink don't mean that people don't like to drink. Tell me a drinking story. Everyone got one of those. Yeah. Oh my God, that one. I don't know if I can tell you that story, but they all have that. Even when they say I can't remember, give them 2 seconds. That's the response is gonna be,
right.
And it becomes fun.
Right.
That's the funny part. And then when I did the rap bracket, who doesn't argue about which artist is better? So when you line up 16 of them and do a whole bracket like it was a basketball tournament like that. Now you have weeks of content.
Right.
And not only weeks of content, but now they're involved.
Right.
All you have to do is ask the question and let them take over.
Right.
And that's what I got.
And see, what's interesting about that is imagine if you got those 16 people together and all of them agreed with one another. You wouldn't have a week of content because you'd have like 1 minute, everybody agrees, case closed. What makes it interesting is that every single one of those people brought their own opinion,
yes.
Their own side to it.
Yes.
And that's what makes it interesting.
That's exactly what the show, when I put the show together, it was just me and my cousin. We involved his girlfriend because we were clowning around and we were talking about it for months. I never wanted to be a part of it because I had so much on my plate. I fell in love with it. I put on the headphones and talked to the mic. And I was like, whoa! I just started talking and enjoyed it. But I knew that I wasn't going to be on it for long because I had other projects. But you're right. Then the second week, a friend of mine came in on the show, and I watched how he had a conflict with my cousin. I'm like, oh, you can replace me.
Yeah.
You don't need to fight and I hate you, this and this and that, but you need the yin and the yang. You need, and I always say that sometimes I'll be that person, and we're sitting there talking, and then you're saying 2 + 2 is 4, and then everyone is agreeing with you because 2 + 2 is 4.
Right.
Everyone's agreeing.
But how interesting is it when that one guy comes in and is like, but can it be 5?
And that's where I come in.
Yeah.
The only thing is you have to now take that and believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know that it's 4, but I'm going to make it seem like, how you know it's not 8? How you know it's not 5? Yeah. You know, just because you were sold that you take 2 fingers and then you know, you got to be able, and that's still an art because even though you know you're wrong, you still got to sell the idea. You know they're going to be like, you're an idiot, this and this and this and that, but you can't let that get into you.
Right. And
just keep going. And to me, I love wrestling. That's a wrestling technique. You're a bad guy. You're supposed to believe what you're saying. Yeah. You know, I kidnapped your cat. Why not? Why is there something wrong with kidnapping your cat? Because the word kid and nap, you know, it's wrong. We all know it's wrong, but you have to believe that it's not. You know, you smacked me in the fucking eye. That's why I kidnapped your cat.
Yeah. An eye for an eye.
Yeah.
An eye for a cat.
You know what I'm saying? They say 2 wrongs don't make it right. Well, I feel right about kidnapping a cat.
Yeah.
You know, and
no, and that's another thing that goes into the creative, the art process. You know, if the Marvel Avengers movie was just about the Avengers getting along and they had nobody to fight against, then why are you watching?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times people think that the good guy is like, oh, I want to play the good guy. I want to play, you know, and believe it or not, like, I'm the type of person that's like, no, like, I'll play the villain.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the villain is more fun. You can get away with, you can get away with doing more than, because the good guy has to, he can't hit the roof, you know. A bad guy can break down the roof and say whatever the fuck he wants because he's the bad guy. Do you agree that I don't know, you're going to finish your statement, I didn't want to cut you.
No, I'm sorry. This is how much I'm on the hustle. I forgot to turn off Postmates and I'm getting orders.
All right. But let me ask you again, you know, when you said you studied there, when writing a script, is there a structure that you have to follow? Not necessarily have to, but like I know with music, you know, there's ways of counting bars, and you know, hook doesn't have to be, but hook should be 8 bars. You know, most likely a rap lyric should be 12 to 16 bars. You know, there's a structure when you're putting together music. There's an intro, there's a verse, there's a hook, there's an outro, there's a breakdown. When you're building a beat or when you're building a song, there are structures and keys. You don't always have to follow the same regiment every song, but there's still a structure. Is it the same thing with writing a script?
Yeah, definitely there's always going to be a formula or a structure to writing any kind of script. I think once you get into the writing of it, you start to kind of see like how you're gonna structure it, and I say this because when it comes to writing a story, you know that the story is always gonna have a beginning and an end, you know, and then what happens in the middle, that's how you get to the end. You know what I mean? As far as a structure and a formula to writing, if you watch any movie, you watch any TV show, you can start to see the types of structure that exist. Like, for example, if you're writing a romantic comedy, you know, romantic comedy always starts off with the guy chasing the girl, they fall in love, he makes a mistake, she forgives him. You know what I mean? So definitely writing can be very formulaic. I think really good writing is when you're able to like hide some of that, you know, kind of leave the audience guessing.
Yeah. Like, even though we know, but get lost in the movie, opposed to, he's gonna find another that. You want to get lost.
Yeah, you want to make it interesting. And definitely, I would say the more I watch things and the more I write things, scenes and stuff like that. Watch a TV show, watch a movie, watch anything, and you're gonna notice that everything that you see comes at you in 2 to 3 minute scenes.
I did notice that. That's how I try to structure my the podcast.
Yeah.
8 minutes commercial, 8 minutes commercial, to get to the 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
I did notice that. And I was also gonna mention what I also learned from sitcom shows is there's always 3 stories that I watch. I noticed there's the main story, the second main story, which is the main story is the story that's going to carry on throughout the season. Right. Then you have the secondary main story that's a main story for that episode. Then you have the throwaway story, which is just silly,
right?
Just to throw you off.
Yeah,
but
a lot of times that third story is just there for comic relief.
Yeah,
or whatever,
and it's not if my arm was broken in this episode, just for that next episode is perfectly fine and all.
Right.
That's what I learned while watching I mean, it's a lot of structure, and even if it's not the third story, there's always 2 stories, you know, to the Devonian. But there's always I notice I see a lot of 3 stories, and it is that. This one story is going to take you through the whole like, pay attention, because if it's a guy and a girl, romantic comedy or whatever the case is, but now it's a TV show, will they or will they not? So you have that whole season trying to figure out. Right. Then you have that one episode that it's about this. This is one that sold the show.
Right.
To watch it this Friday or such and such. And then again, you have to throw away the comedy relief.
Right.
I don't know if there's a name for each one of them, but I realized in comedy they have that.
Yeah. Definitely. Sitcoms are a little bit easier because I'll tell you the thing about sitcoms. Sitcom is always built as one. They're always built as a standalone episode, and what I mean by that is watch an episode of any sitcom. I'll throw Full House just because everybody's seen that.
Yeah.
You know, you always start off with the problem. You know, one of the girls got in trouble. Yeah. Uncle Jesse's, he's off doing his thing, whatever. Something always happens that will get resolved in that episode.
Within that 30 minutes.
You know what I mean? When it comes to movies and like Netflix series, that type of shooting is becoming more popular because it's basically like a long movie.
Yeah.
And what happens with those with a Netflix series is that you'll see an episode, but that episode makes you want to watch the next one. And why does it do that? Because they're telling a story that's going to happen throughout the entire season, and they usually leave you on like some sort of a cliffhanger, or some sort of revelation or discovery or something like that.
That's where they're
that's like, oh man, next week, damn.
That's where binge watching comes into play.
Exactly.
What I've learned, there's a new app, another one of these Netflix type of thing. I forgot the name of it. It begins with a Q.
Quibi?
Yeah, you can only download it on your phone.
Yeah.
I thought it was free because now they just asking me, hey, I need your credit card or whatever. But I ended up watching the Kevin Hart one.
Right.
With John Travolta.
Right.
And they cut it exactly what you said. But this was like a long movie. And each episode was only like 10 minutes long.
Yeah, I think it's like 8 to 10 minutes for Quibi. Yeah.
And if you calculate, it was 12 episodes. If you calculate, it was like basically 120 minutes, basically a movie and all.
Right.
And it's exactly what you said. So it was like, I was running through it. It was a movie. I'm like, what the commercial?
Right.
They only had that one commercial, whatever the case is. But that's what they do. They draw you in. I think that might even be the new. And I thought, how is it going to work? It's 8 minutes. But it's exactly what you said. It turns into a long movie that you become
invested in.
Yeah. And it does. And
what's cool about these Netflix series and these types of things is that they're more character driven. Like you really get invested in the characters. A lot of shows that come out on Netflix, like I always tell people, like you gotta watch the first 3 episodes or the first 4 episodes or something, because in the first episode, it might not hook you. Like the first episode might leave you like, I don't know, I kind of want to find out what's going on. But as you get into the second and the third and the fourth, that you start to like really understand these characters. You start
in marketing, they always say 3 episodes will get you hooked. If they can get you to watch the 3rd episode, you're already hooked, whether you like the show or not. You just like, I want to see. That's happened to me with Jersey Shore.
Right.
Like I tell you that I heard about it for years. I mean, I'm talking about back in 2000, and all I heard was people insulting the show of these big idiots and shit. Yeah. And then one day I'm in my house and the channel, I think it's MTV, is on, and they were just doing back to back. And you see, they hook you in. They always end it with someone ready to fight. Yeah. And you want to see the fight. Exactly. And then when you do see the fight, it's no really big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're like, you bastard. And then they'll drag it on until the next one. And next you know, I'm a huge fan of Jersey Shore to this day.
Yeah.
But it's right what you said is that hook that willed you in.
Man, I've seen a lot of shows that I'll admit are terrible shows. Like I'll tell people, look, man, if you're gonna watch this show and you're gonna study it from a technical standpoint, and it's terrible. Yeah. But the problem is that I watched 3-4 episodes of it, and at this point we're 7 seasons in, and I just want to figure out how it ends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm just that invested, you know.
Yeah, and do you agree there's an art to that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think what's really cool about these types of shows is a Full House. You never had any deep characters. Like Full House, you knew that Jesse was the handsome uncle. Joey was the buffoon. Danny Tanner was, like the really clingy dad. You knew who the girls were, but that's who they were in every single episode.
Yeah.
Like, even as these, like, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen started off as a baby on that show, and even when she's like a 12-year-old kid, she's just like a cute kid there for like comic relief. What's cool about these Netflix shows and stuff like that is, like, just when you think you got a character figured out, they show another side of their personality, or, like the way they interact with a certain type of group of people or a certain person is different from who you thought they were. And you get to start to see like dimensions and range in those people, which makes them more real. You know what I mean? Because like Danny Tanner is not a real person. You could say, oh, I have an uncle that's like that or whatever, but he's not Danny Tanner, because Danny Tanner is just one side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, your uncle may be like that around you, but if you go see him at work, he's a totally different person. You know what I mean? And I think that's a really, really cool thing. I think it's going to end up hurting the film industry in the sense that, especially now with the coronavirus and stuff like that, they're just producing more content for Netflix and things like that. And now you're getting like, who was it recently? I think it was Oliver Stone. No, the other guy, Scorsese. Okay. Scorsese just released but like last year he released the one with
Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. It was a true story.
Right.
Yeah. And I was shocked as hell that it was released on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a guy that knows the industry and he knows it really well.
Yeah. That's something that could have easily been in the movie theaters and gross whatever millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it went straight to that. And I was shocked. I honestly to God thought that it was in theaters. I didn't know about it. And they just released it.
I did too. When I saw it, I thought that it was in theaters and I just missed it.
Yeah.
And then I found out like it was made just for Netflix. And the truth is, some of these people in the industry, like, they're so deep in the industry that they know more than we do.
Yeah.
Like, to us, it's still cool to go to movies and stuff like that. But some of these guys, they're on their 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and they're like looking at their portfolios and they're saying to themselves, well, and this is before the pandemic, box office sales are down, theater sales are down. What's the big thing? What's growing? Netflix last year, like, if you look at it from a financial perspective, boomed. It blew up.
It did?
Yeah. I mean, Netflix, if you look at their quarterly earnings, Netflix was one of the biggest businesses.
And you saying last year?
Yeah, last year.
I can only imagine this year.
Oh yeah, no, right now they're killing it. They're killing it. Look, they did so well last year that they single-handedly launched, if you think about it, Amazon's producing their own content, Apple's producing their own content. YouTube just decided to become YouTube TV, producing their own content. Like, none of those people were trying to compete with Netflix before. What is Apple making Apple iPhones and computers? Who are they to be in the business of producing films? Not films, but producing video content. Who's Amazon, who started off selling books and now just sells you everything and ships it to your house? Who are they to say, oh, we're going to have Amazon Prime Video Studios?
But the thing about Amazon is that a lot of the movies you got to pay for. Yeah. A lot of the series you got to pay for, and like how can you compete with Netflix that don't?
Right.
It's just either you have the content, they don't, and vice versa. And Netflix, I mean, Amazon content is not, the top. They have those cheesy old movies. I mean, they have their own series they're doing, but when I search, I'll see some old 90s bootleg straight to DVD movies on there type of thing,
Yeah, because all of that stuff. All of that stuff goes down to royalties and who has the rights to license this and that.
Yeah.
And when you have someone like Netflix...
It was like the movie theaters back in the day. It's like, if this movie theater had it, if Channel 9 had it,
Yeah.
AMC didn't, and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was going to ask you this. So does ratings even matter anymore?
In terms of?
Because the fact that there's so much, not just different channels or different shows, but different avenues to watch TV. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon.
You're talking about like TV ratings? Like cable ratings?
Yeah. Because I've seen things where people are talking about, oh, their ratings keep dropping, but it's like, well, it's because there's so much to watch. And I don't necessarily have to watch your show at the time because it's DVR.
Well, I would say ratings do matter in the sense that as this continues to move along, all the marketing money is going to go to Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and Apple TV. And then whatever you do watch on TV is going to end up having like, as seen on TV, infomercials and things like that, because that'll be the marketing dollars that they're able to do. Now, all of those studios are trying to make an effort to compete. Like now you see, like for example, Hulu for a while, to me, it was like Netflix was like movies and TV shows and documentaries, but whatever TV shows it was, they were like their own produced stuff, like Stranger Things and stuff like that. And then Hulu was like the subscription service that I had to watch my live TV. Like if I wanted to see an ABC show or an NBC show or something like that, I would watch it on Hulu. But now Hulu merged with Disney and whatchamacallit. Now ABC has ABC Go. Like their app.
Yeah, so and NBC too. NBC got Peacock.
Right, now they have the Peacock. So they're gonna make, they don't want to lose their empires and their fortunes, so they're gonna make a run at it. So I think what's gonna hurt the most is gonna be actual like cable TV service, like the service itself. Because even HBO, like now you don't need to have a DirecTV dish to watch HBO. You just download HBO Go.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who basically he says he has a bunch of different ones, and he goes, now it's catching up to him where he's like paying just as much as cable. Yeah. Because if you got 10, I mean, you're like paying $80 for a different subscription. And I mean, here's the thing about it is, I mean, that's the future, but is it better? Because now I have to go to this app, to this app, to this app, as far as going to DirecTV and switching channels.
Yeah, I mean, but everything, the technology always catches up to it. Like, yeah, maybe if you're looking at it on your phone or you plug your computer to the TV, it's like that. You're like, oh, I got to go to this app or whatever. But I have a Roku at home. Okay. And Roku, like I turn on my Roku and I have all those apps. Like, they all just pop up. And smart TVs and stuff like that, like, they're becoming more and more abundant. So, like, pretty soon, your TV's going to turn on and it's going to look like your phone. Your TV's going to turn on and it's going to have a bunch of apps. You launch the app and you go.
But see, that again, it goes back to, like, the ratings is like, there's so much on. It's not that, and there's not enough hours in the day to watch everything. I mean, even if you stay home all day and watch TV, which is 24 hours, it's still not enough to watch or to check on every little thing, and without giving me time. And then most people have to get up and go to school, go to work, and have a life and shit like that. So that's why I'm like, I mean, how do they calculate it? That's
I totally agree with you, but you got to remember one thing: the internet never sleeps, and it used to be, if you wanted to watch that ABC show, like I used to watch CSI.
Yeah.
All right. CSI, you were like, oh, it's on every Friday at 9 o'clock. You either got to set your DVR, or if you were like me, you didn't have your DVR, you have to be home at 9 o'clock to watch it. Now, you can come home at 3 in the morning from your Uber shift and watch CSI. So it kind of like, it makes that content available for you 24/7. Not only that, people forget that like China's a big market, and like this is just one example, obviously China. China's a big market. They're on the other side of the world. When we sleep, they're awake, and they actually like our content too.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of big things for them over there, you know, is American stuff. I mean, their cities are based on American things. Their transportation systems are based on American technology and designs. So it makes for a bigger market because now you're talking about the whole world. And, you know, when I go to watch a Netflix show, I could watch Netflix in 7 different languages.
Yeah.
Like anything I watch is in 7 different languages.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed my cousin watching something in a different language, and you could see the mouths and the voices off. I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be in English and all. And then, like, why is it in English and have subtitles and all? It's like, no, it's an English show, and I have to show them. Like, and then we looked, it was a French show. Right. I'm like, dude, no, it says the original content is in French, you know. And he's like, oh shit, he's been watching this season all season long, and he didn't even know that, you know, like that. Yeah. But, like, for instance, I know, like, you know, I watch wrestling, I listen to their podcasts, and they would talk about the 90s when they had the Attitude Era, and they were drawing, like, 10.8 in the ratings, which is over 10 million viewers every week. Yeah. And now they're drawing, like, 700,000. Yeah. So they're trying to figure out, is it because our content is bad or because there's so much content in there where it's like, they're not really watching it at that moment in time.
Are they on these types of platforms, or are they still sticking to
cable TV? I know they have they have their own WWE network. They run on Hulu, and they have the USA network, and they just signed a deal with Fox network and all. So whatever Fox and USA is on these different apps, like the Peacock, it's on USA, and shows has that. So I'm sure that there are all these other content, but they're looking at this hour and this hour. They're not calculating. Well, at least when I hear them talk, they're not calculating the DVRs yet, and then streaming and all that. Well, they're worrying about live right there and then. And then my thing is, I don't know. Is it sometimes they have bad episodes here and there, but is it because of the content, or is it because there's so much? Because me as a fan, I don't watch it at 8 o'clock and all. I just DVR it and I'll go, and if it's whatever, I'll just scheme through it and I get caught up and call it a day. That's why I'm looking at different shows and all, like, and then look how important. And then you watch a lot of TV, and a lot of even like you see a lot of people watch a lot of YouTube, and it's like poorly executed, but yet it's still a big hit.
Yeah.
Those are things that confuse me, where it's like, I would figure that you have to make sure you put the right content in to draw your attention, because it's a billion, just like going on Instagram Live or Facebook Live. I'm DJing, you're DJing. How do I make them want to watch me opposed to scheming to you? Right. I got to make sure my content is great. But then again, some people don't care about the quality. Like, quality to me is gone. Yeah. Like, have you listened to music now? The quality of the music, it doesn't sound as crisp
for sure.
as it once did.
For sure. And that has everything to do with the equipment and everything being much more accessible. Like, you know, look, you have a really nice rig here. I've been to people's houses and they're doing podcasts, and their rig is not this, but they have subscribers and they have their likes and they have their people and they have their following. And like you said, the quality is not there. And I think it's a blessing and a curse, yin and the yang. It's a blessing because that means that there's not that much pressure, but it's a curse because that also means that the quality of the content is going down.
Well, here's the thing, the quality is definitely going down. Even with TV, I watch it. I mean, still these big budgets are still doing great things and all, but I see a lot I think Netflix is, you know, you'll have one or two good, but a lot of it is poor quality, even the acting. Yeah. I don't think they have, I think the acting, a majority of the shows are bad. Yeah. But it's like to me, like Miami, where there's a strip club in every corner. Yeah. The quality of women are not going to be there. They just need the content. They just need to fill in the blanks. Opposed to when you go to New York, where there's only one in Queens and one in Manhattan. So now any girl who wants to take off their clothes is not qualified. You have to have the look and all this and this and that. Where in Miami, you don't, And sometimes it's good also because maybe I like this type of woman, you probably like something else. So you can go to this one and I can go to that one and all like that. Right. So, I mean, again, there is a give and a curse. Some people don't care about quality. Because look, the people you're talking about, they probably bring good content. Right. Maybe they don't have the best. Maybe my equipment is better than theirs, but they have better content than I do. That's also the thing. But I just feel like there's a lot of lack of. Like, you have a passion for this. I have a passion for this. But I don't think there's so much of that in there, and those are the people who are making it because they can care less. They'll do the most stupidest thing in the world, and it's I'm all over the place what I'm saying right now because it's like I'm trying to figure it out. Right. I'm not going to lower my standards to put a YouTube page up and do a fart joke because that's not my thing. I like to be funny and all, but I'm not into the fart jokes. But that's what's selling. And it's like, who are these people that like it?
Yeah. I mean, I think a big part of it is money and influence. I know guys out there that don't really have much talent, don't really have much going on. Their content is not deep, but they're out there doing it and they have the backing. I know a lot of people that had rich parents that just. The money put them where they had to be.
The money got them noticed. That's what you're saying. Yeah. It got to the right hands to.
I mean, look. Let's even talk about YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen. You said it before. I've seen people's YouTube channels where they dedicate a lot of time and effort into content, into production value, and all that stuff because. They're thinking like us, and I don't want to say that we have like an old mentality, but we're coming from a school of like hard knocks, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I was born in the 80s.
Myself too.
Yeah, so we come from an era that in the 80s, bro, it wasn't just anybody off the street that was making music videos and this and that. We live in Miami, bro. How many people have been shooting music videos left and right? Yeah. Like, the equipment is accessible, and it makes it easier. Photographers, you said it was hard for you to find a photographer. I know.
That's all you need is your phone.
I know. Nowadays, I mean, there are films that have won film festivals that I've followed that shot it all on iPhone. Grand majority of what we shot for our film was for our sketches was.
Yeah, I did a music video, the one of me on the boat and everything. That was on the iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you can't hate on it because the iPhone is just as capable.
No, I'm not hating on it on no shape or form.
No, I don't mean you, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying because at the end of the day, it gives you. My thing, if anything, is. Now you don't have an excuse.
Yeah, for sure.
I always tell people all the time, I said, everything you need to know is here. If you want to learn how to work out, there's an app for that. There's an app for training. You want to learn how to cook, there's an app for that. You want to learn another language, there's an app for that. Sure. Hey, you want to do a video, there, your phone, the quality is amazing and all like that. There is an app for everything, and that's what frustrates me about anybody because Yes, I'm old, and I like the old things and all, but I can adapt to the new things as well. Sure, and I'm aware of, I'm doing podcasts right now. I'm having fun with it, but I would have never. You told me 10 years later I was going to be sitting there talking with people and interviewing people and this and that. I'd be like, nah, nigga, I rap. That's what I do.
Right.
But I can adapt and enjoy it to the moments and all. But that's what frustrates me about people is that you don't have an excuse.
Right.
If you don't want to work with me, that's fine. I'm a beast. You work with me, I'm gonna make sure. Now you put more pressure on me to make sure shit happens because I don't want you to second guess the thought of I'm working with him, but he ain't showing nothing.
Right.
That's just my mentality. But even if you didn't want to work with me, your phone is your best friend.
Right.
I'll show you a video that I did just clowning around with the green room because I'm trying to understand how to do videos on that. I did a video with just 3 of me, silly. Just me, one guy putting the 3, the other me puts the 0, the other one comes in and looks at the other 2 and says, oh, 3, I get it, 5. And you see 3 of us, and we put the 305. And then I watched, because I was watching videos, how does because I wanted to do a little funny thing of twins, you know?
Right.
How do you talk to yourself? And I'm watching you, and again, YouTube's your best friend, Google's your best friend, your phone is your best friend.
Yeah.
So what's your excuse? Like, yes, I am willing to go all out because you don't need all this. Obviously, you said your peoples have it to do your content. I have this because I want more people to come.
Right.
It's not just for me.
Yeah.
There's an app called Anchor. I could just and load it.
Yeah.
This is for bringing more people to build your content and do your thing.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, just because there's people out there that are doing it with less doesn't mean, like, for example, a guy that's just doing it in his room with a USB microphone and his computer, if that person is successful enough that they get picked up by somebody who's willing to actually pay them to do what they do, they don't say, "Oh yeah, keep doing your thing in your thing, and we'll just pay you to do it." No, they bring them into a studio like this, you know. So there's a reason for all this. Same thing with, like, I've seen films that have won film festivals shot on the phone, but why are the big studios still spending the big bucks to get a red camera with the 7 lenses that you need? Is because there is a difference. There is a big difference when you're shooting with the right equipment, when you're using the right equipment.
Yeah.
But I'm with you in the sense that having this technology available to us means there's no excuse. Like when we decided to shoot the series for YouTube, like, it was like, okay, theaters canceled. Are you gonna stop doing what you're doing, or are we just gonna do what we can?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we all said, no, fuck it. Like, we're gonna do what we can. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can or can't.
Do whatever the fuck you want to do.
But we're gonna do what we can. And we all pulled out our iPhones, and we all, you know, started, all right, we're gonna get this program, we're gonna use this thing, we're gonna do this, we're gonna get some lights like these, and we're just gonna do what we can. Like, I look at the YouTube thing that we created, and if I was like an Academy Award, like one of these people in the Academy, I'd be like, well, technically this is crap.
Okay.
But you know what? It's not, because we did what we could with what we had, and those ideas have inspired bigger and bigger and bigger productions. And so ultimately, that's why I think what I was talking to you about earlier, like, right now is a time to just do, get the recordings, get the content, get the this, get the that. When it came to the Facebook Lives of DJing and stuff like that, that's why I told you, like, I don't necessarily want to jump on Facebook Live because everyone's doing it, but I want to take this time right now because all those people doing that, they're not working on their craft, on their recording, you know. And I'd rather work right now on producing mixes and producing more content. So when things finally open up, or so when new opportunities come around, you have a reel. And somebody that I was talking to recently when we were discussing our actual show pitch was telling me the first thing, because he actually makes money. He's a documentarian. He makes money off of doing what he loves and filmmaking and stuff like that. And I told him, I'm like, how do I quit my job and just make money doing the things that I love? And he said, the first thing that you need to do is do one. Like, if you want to make a movie, go make one movie. When you have one movie in your hand, that will open the door to a second movie, third movie, fourth movie. Even if that first movie, nothing ever happens to it, it's about having the conversation with people like me in the industry and being able to say that you did one.
Yeah.
You know, because in that industry, there's a lot of merit to doing one. You know what I mean?
I definitely agree with you, because I just put out the album this year, and it was a lot of merit putting the album together. I have enough to put at least two more albums out. Yeah. And it was the big deal of putting that one out. And my thing is, I want to just keep promoting it for a year and then put the next one out. But that's my baby and cherish it. So,
for sure.
And then you have something you can carry around with you and present to people and like that. And guess what? What I've learned when I built the studio and I started working on beats is not everybody's going to like your shit, and then some people's going to love your shit. Yeah. So you got to break that heartfelt, oh, boo-hoo if someone don't like you, and then just be like, all right, yeah, because it's not meant for you, or your mind is not ready for it yet. Yeah. You know, I read a lot of books. One of the music books that I read, it broke down. I should bring it so I can really quote it. It has like 5 different types of people. One is like the influence, where it's like they just need to hear it once and they know if they like it or not. You know, there's a second one who needs to hear it a couple of times. Then there's a third person who only likes what other people like and all. And then it all goes all the way down to the person who may not like you today, but 3 years later now I get it. Yeah. Now I know why. And I tell you, that's how it was for me with Bob Marley. Yeah. Everybody around me loved Bob Marley. I didn't get it. Yeah. I try to. I sit there and I listen. I'm like, I don't get what people get. Yeah. Now, and maybe because maybe Bob Marley was too grown, too mature for me, and I was just a kid. Right. Because now I listen to his music, I'm like, oh, I get it. Yeah. I see why. Yeah. When I'm down, I listen to Bob Marley and I get it now. It was before my time, you know? And that's why when the man tells you do one movie, if you love it, people will love it. Yeah. You watch movies that people love and people hate, you know, like music, and that's the great thing about our profession. It's an art. I'm not saying go out there and do crap and some people will like it because it's crap. I mean, some people won't. I mean, go do your. I agree to always do your best. Yeah. But the great thing about art is that you can't tell me what I did is right or wrong, and like that. Right. You know, and somebody would appreciate. And I think it's the hunger that draws people in. Because when I was having a meeting earlier today, and he was trying to find me some type of music with each of the artists and all, I said, I don't want to hear the music. So I've been in this business for 30 years and all. I heard it all. Yes, you know, you're a drug dealer, you know, you smash all these women, you know, you're a gangster or you're in love. I get it. Yeah. No one's reinventing the wheel.
I'm almost down to hear a piece of music that's not about any of those things.
I mean, even if you're talking righteous stuff and, you know, positivity, I heard it all, you know, it's like nobody is, honest to God, reinventing the wheel in the business. Just like you were breaking down on Full House, just like you were breaking down the movies and the romantic comedies and all. It's just the way you do it. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Jay-Z, but I mean, come on, he's saying the same shit in every album, just with a different beat, and then a lot of times the beats are the same, boom, 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 boom. You know, it's just you fell in love with that person that I just want to. Denzel Washington, I mean, is he a great actor? I mean, I think he's a good actor, but does he not play the same character in every? But he makes good movies. And I'm a fan of him, and you don't have to. Oh, Denzel got a movie coming out October 21st. I don't need to see this trailer. Your track record showed me that you make good movies. Yeah. Jay-Z drops an album tomorrow. Okay, where can I pick it up? Yeah. Because you proven, and I think that's what they want. I think and that's how I work with, like, you know, if I'm working with you, it's like when you show up, like the guys that show up on Saturday. Are they the best? No, they're not the best. Am I the best? No, I'm not the best. But have they improved from episode 1 to episode 17? Yeah. Of course.
And that's a big thing. And that's another reason why to keep doing it. Like, man, it might take you 5 albums. It might take you 5 films. It might take you 1. You know, like, you never know. It might take you 10. But you won't know unless you keep doing it. Like if you quit on 1, if you quit on 5, and you never get to 10, and you were the guy that your 10th film was gonna be it.
Yeah.
Like you'll never know. You'll never know if you were gonna make it or not because, and for me that's another reason why like no matter how much I've gotten caught up with work and life and just learning about life and being responsible and stuff like that, there's not 1 year of my life that I can't point to one artistic endeavor or one artistic project that I was doing while working or while doing all these other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in that sense, I could really honestly say I've always kept it with me, and that's why, you know, being my age and being where I'm at right now in my life and coronavirus and all this, I'm really looking for a way to just keep doing it as my number one.
I was gonna say, are you still passionate about what you do?
Oh yeah, man. I like.
I never lost the passion.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the only thing I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I've always been a good soldier, a good employee. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you hire me to do a job, I'm gonna give it 120% every single time. Like, I'm always blood, sweat, and tears. I'll leave it there. But, you know, like, man, this. I'll give you the best example. When I'm doing this type of work, I can pull all-nighters for 3, 4, 5 days in a row and never feel tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
There has never been a job that I've gotten off of a shift and haven't been like, oh man, I'm done. I'm toast. Like I gotta rest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't pull all-nighters to go work at a restaurant. Like,
Yeah.
Don't.
When it's clock out, it's clock out.
Yeah, and that's it.
One thing I can tell, like I always like, I do a lot of reading. Things about dreams and potential. Like they don't really have a time limit, you know. And I think our parents' generation tried to put that cap.
Yeah.
And say, use that. Well, you're too old to do this, or act your age, or you know.
Sure.
So when it's like our generation has broken those barriers, broken those walls, broken those glass ceilings, and saying, well, that's not true.
Right.
You know, I've seen people way past my age still doing it and achieving all that. I mean, this is not our generation, but the Colonel, KFC,
Yeah.
he didn't bust until 65.
Yeah.
So no one's telling you that. We finding that out.
Yeah.
That he didn't bust when he was in his 30s or 20s, like that chicken and all like that. That's why the logo has the old man, and because he's like, I bust at this age. So we broke those glass ceilings that, yes, it would have been lovely to do it at our age, and at 20 or 19, and because you wanted to do it at age, but that doesn't mean you should stop. That's why I asked you, still passionate about it, because I am.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's always amazing. I always thank God for that, because I'm just like, wow, I'm the age that I am, and I'm lucky to still be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I turned 37 in July, and it's funny, bro. I mean, that's even more of a reason why people like us should keep working together, should collaborate and combine forces, because, man, you know how many people I've been with along this path that were just like me and gave up, and just like me and said, oh man, you know what, I'm too old for this. Oh, you know what, I want to settle down, I want to have kids. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with kids.
Yeah.
All right, there's people like me that have kids and they're still busting their ass.
Yeah.
So kids don't really get in the way.
Yeah, they just give people an excuse. And then here's the thing with having kids. I mean, I'm not trying to, because I don't have, but it's like, it's either going to make you or break you. You're either going to have kids to use that as an excuse, or you're going to have kids and grind harder because you want to succeed for your kids and all like that. Yeah. So it all depends on you, how you look at life at the end of the day. Tony Robbins, I love his book. It's called Awakening of a Giant. He says you can look at life good or bad. You know, that book, The Awakening of a Giant, and Damon John, The Power Broke, is the reason why you see the studio, all this. the way this looks right now is because of reading those books. My life, everything has changed off those books. One of the main thing that sticks out is if there's something that you love doing, why aren't you doing it? No. If you're worried about money, money is the reward. No. The crazy thing about it is I DJ'd in 1994 when I was 14. That was the first time. Then I met up with a crew in 98 called Echo Chamber, and 97 and like that, and we ran shop, blah, blah, blah. Never really made money. We just say yes to any gig. Sometimes we get a little check. I was always determined of, give me at least $20, $30 to go to the record shop to get some records. Even if my mom hiring me, give me $20 so I can get some updated records and shit. Yeah. I always made sure there was some type of income coming in. But then it was a point in time where I guess you can say I retired. I never stopped mixing. I would always make mixtapes just for me and my friends and like that. But it came to 2017, I think going into 18, a friend for some reason hired me to DJ their New Year's Eve party. And I said, I'm going to upgrade. I got a bigger turntable. I had the little Fisher Price type of thing. Just I'm at home, So I upgraded.
The home studio.
Yeah. And then I DJ'd that party, and this is the first time that I actually DJ as an open format DJ opposed to just the hip hop DJ. When I had the crew with either hip hop, they were reggae. Yeah. Now I'm the open. They sat down with me. They lined up a bunch of Spanish music. I like Spanish music, but I don't know how to DJ salsa, merengue, bachata, So they lined up the music for me. They set it, and I just had to listen to it and calculate it. So I went in there and I did this New Year's Eve party, and I played every genre: reggae, soca, old school, new school, Spanish, salsa, merengue, reggaeton, mainstream, because everybody wanted a little bit of everything. There was fucking 5 years old to 50, 60-year-olds and all. And I just DJ'd. And at the end of it, they all told me how amazing I was. And I was shocked because sometimes when I DJ back then, sometimes I was good, sometimes I was bad, but it was just hip-hop I was focused on. This time I'm trying new things. Yeah. And I ended up getting the radio station because 2 other people wanted me to DJ, and I'm like, well, I can't do that, so I'm going to get this program, and you can stream it in your part. So it ended up being 3 parties. My coming out a retirement party, I ended up DJing 3 New Year's Eve party because they plugged it in, and I'm like, damn, can I go? Can I just? I kept the subscription. That was the radio station, and now we're 10,000 streaming listeners later, and I make the most money now DJing. I made $2,000 at one gig. I performed at the event, which was the Bar Marley Festival / the 9 Mile Music Festival, that since 92, 93, when I was going there as a kid, always watched the stage and envisioned me performing there. Yeah. I got to do that. Got paid the most money I ever did DJing. Musically wise, like my music, rap music I'm producing, I'm getting royalty checks every 6 months. Yeah. And the point of the story is, if I didn't read that book and continue building, I would have never been making money out of it. Yeah. I would have just been one of those statistics that did it in high school and had fun with it and didn't really make any money out of it. Yeah. Now, at my age, I'm making money out of it. Yeah. I'm getting checks in the mail, royalty checks. Yeah. Before the pandemic, I was getting paid. Nothing was free anymore. My rates went up. Yeah. Because my equipment went up. Yeah. My performance went up. Because every show, every event I did, people were amazed and wanted to hire me for the next person. Yeah. Meaning, and I go home and I practice. Yeah. Now, what would have happened if I said, well, I'm too old for this?
You'd be working at UPS, bro.
UPS. Dude, I performed, which I was trying to do a document. My cousin was like, oh, I don't know, you should do a documentary about this. And I said, but you don't get the story. If I can complete the documentary, you'll get the story. Yeah, but the 9 Mile is not a global. It doesn't matter. it's been around since I was a kid, and I said one day, and it happened without even realizing. I was promoting. I was going to the shows with Mr. Cheeks and Steve Marley, and I'm riding with them, and I was just, oh my God! And while they're performing, I'm on stage. You know, when you go on stage, you see a bunch of people in the back. I was one of them, and I was just happy to be there. Then one of the Marley's nephews says, "Yo, I like your grind." I don't know how he knew I was good, but hey, I want you to meet my uncle, which was Bob Marley's brother. Sat down with him, and he's ill. Like I'm sure many people come up to him and try to pitch an idea. So he had me there. He stood quiet for a good 10, 20 minutes and let me ramble on. Yeah. And in my head, am I just talking? I don't know. I'm trying to sell an idea. I'm just telling you who I am. And then he just like grabbed me to the point where I was like, yo, let me. And then this is the thing when I try to tell people, we all want to make money because we want nice things. We want to be able to pay your bills, this and this. That. Sometimes you got to be the grind. No. I told him, yo, let me get some tickets to sell. He didn't know me. So what I had to do, I had to purchase those tickets so he didn't think I would run off with the tickets. And I sold those tickets, and I said, I need more. That first year, I had to buy the tickets, sell them, and come back and get more, whatever, and I put the money back in my pocket, whatever I invested in, or like that. Next year, he just started giving me tickets. He didn't worry about me giving him any money because he found the trust in me. And again, I gave him all the money. He's like, well, how much you want out of it? I don't want anything out of it. I just want an opportunity. He's like, you sure? In my head, I'm like, I can get $1 for each ticket. What if I sold 50 tickets, I made $50. Yeah. And then see you later, I'll see you next year. Or I can do you this favor, and all I ask for you is opportunity. All I ask is to sit down and pick your brain. Yeah. To me, that costs way more.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Than a couple of change for selling tickets. I never got paid once from them until obviously not this year, the year before in 2019. Some reason because I was DJing heavy. That's what it was. And then he's like, yo, you're not promoting. I don't see you promote. I'm like, dude, go on my Instagram. I've been promoting your event and like that. I don't need you to send me the flyer. Once I see the flyer, I post. You know, common knowledge, right? We know the show is coming up. And then I make the sarcastic joke, what, am I performing this year? Am I DJing? He tells me, well, you might. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you might? You know? And he's like, come to the house. And then we went and we talked. And then it was like, oh, shit. And these are things that they teach you along the way. Yeah. The small little things. Closed mouths don't get fed. Sometimes, you know, you help out this person. Stop asking for money. Just sweep up the floor. Just be around the environment.
Yeah. I was going to say that's a big thing. Like, one thing that I definitely thought to myself within all of this stuff, and it was something that I had asked that guy when I was like, hey,
which guy?
The guy that I told you, he's in the industry. He's a documentary.
Okay, the one that told you make that one movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it was one of the things that I told him, like, I'm like, man, you know, I keep looking around and I keep seeing, like, okay, I knew this guy back in high school, and now he's doing this. And I was like, how the fuck is that guy still doing? How the fuck did that guy get to doing that? And I'm like doing restaurants. And he's like, well, what has that guy been doing? I'm like, oh, he was doing like little theater shit here, and he was doing like little things there. It's like, well, he put himself in the industry,
in the environment.
You know what I mean? Like, when he said that to me, and I realized that's true of everything, bro. If you want to be a restaurant manager, go start busting tables at a restaurant. You'll become a restaurant manager. Yeah. You know, like if you want to be a musician, then go hang out with other musicians. Go to places where music is played. Go do those things.
That's the thing I tell people, that I don't have a lot of regrets in life, but that was one of them. I wasn't around. I don't know if it was my ego saying that I'm around these people where I'm the rapper and you're not. So when you're drunk and you're rapping, you're saying, oh, and I'm coming in with the lyrical thing. I'm better than you, which I should be because I do music and you don't. I don't know, back in my mind, that's what I thought. But I wasn't around the people, not only to work together, but to make you better. Yeah. And I tell it to everybody. I said, when I know this girl was going to a nursing school, I said, surround yourself with nurses. Those people in your classes, make friends with them. Yeah. You know, because they're going to help you. Some is going to be envious and someone's going to want to, but majority of the time, people are there to help you, and you, all you got to do a lot of times is shut up and listen, and then you'll see so much. And like even with the show, though, what are you drinking? The show, I seen the changes in numbers. I have people coming up to me saying, "Yo, what are you drinking?" I'm like, "What are you?" Oh, you know. When you came over and you were like, "Oh, by the way, tell your homeboy, yes, you should tip." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, he watched the show." Whether it was just that was a part of an episode that happened maybe 2 or 3 months ago. It was like, "Oh, you going?" Another one came up and told me, "Oh, I don't like the fact that this guy said this and this and that. It made me feel uncomfortable." I hear you, but I was more impressed. Like, "Oh, you watched it." Right. Then my other homeboy yesterday told me, like, "Yo, man, the best set was the bar, the one you had the bar." And I'm like, okay, all this is duly noted. It goes back to the marriage thing of, you know, listening to what they're, you like, okay, you like the bar thing. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to add that, this and that. Oh, you said it tipped in and that, blah, blah. He goes, should I mention it to him or let him be the evil one? Because, you know, you need the one that everyone hates on the show and all like that. So everything that people tell me, I feed into it and I watch the numbers increase. That's why I'll have arguments with them. But I always like to tell them, I don't plan on replacing anyone because the main thing, whether you're good or bad, you show up. And that counts for a lot. And now I get why when I was working 9 to 5s and I would get fired here and there because I didn't care. Yeah. I'll show up late, you know, I'll do a half-ass job. And not because I wanted to, I just didn't care to be there. Yeah. And everything they told you, even in school, not even like, I don't know, 80 or 90% of it is just showing up. Yeah. And then by them showing up, shirts sell. Yeah. You know, people want to know what's next. People want to be in the show. Some people are hating because they're not on the show. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know. It's just doing it, you know?